North Korea has been provoking the United States for as long as North Koreans have been told to praise Kim Il-sung for being birthed from a shooting star. That's true, and so weird. In the 1960s, the Hermit Kingdom was at the height of its power, which mostly came from the Soviet Union, who both supplied it and protected it from US intervention. The election of US President Richard Nixon changed how communist nations interacted with the United States in geopolitical affairs. Nixon, a staunch anti-communist Cold Warrior, was able to provoke the major communist powers and play them off one another. His famous 1972 trip to China and the subsequent thaw in relations with the USSR are proof that Nixon's triangulation theory had merit. The triangle here is that Nixon played nice with China so that Russia would be so nervous about the US-China relationship so that Russia would improve their relationship with the US, and it's a triangle. You get it. But in April 1969, mere months into the first Nixon administration, Nixon's internationalist savvy was still unproven. And that's when North Korea shot down an EC-121 spy plane over the Sea of Japan. There were 31 Americans on board, and Nixon was furious. A July 2010 story on NPR featured remarks from Bruce Charles, an Air Force pilot based in Kunsan, South Korea at the time. Charles recalled being put on alert to carry out his part of the SIOP, the Single Integrated Operational Plan, not the Psychological Operations SIOP. But if you like those, check out our video about the time the US became vampires and ghosts to scare the hell out of the enemy. The link is below. Anyway, this SIOP, SIOP, was the US nuclear strike plan for war with the communists. Air Force pilot Bruce Charles was put on alert to drop a 330 kiloton nuke on a North Korean airstrip. Now eventually he was ordered to stand down, and Charles returned to his regular duties. According to the official accounts, Nixon and his advisors struggled with how to respond to the EC-121 attack. In the end, the president opted not to retaliate, and he was praised for that restraint. But it's worth speculating that Nixon would have wanted the communists to believe that he actually considered a nuclear strike. In the coming years, the president would even send nuclear-armed bombers toward the Soviet Union while spreading the rumor that he was so insane he might really trigger World War III. He dubbed it the madman theory. Of course, he wasn't insane, and thanks to a book by Anthony Summers and Robin Swan, we now know he was just drunk. Not with power, but with booze. George Carver, a CIA Vietnam specialist at the time of the EC-121 shootdown, is reported to have said that Nixon became incensed when he found out about the attack. The president got on the phone with the Joint Chiefs of Staff and ordered plans for a tactical nuclear strike and recommendations for targets. Henry Kissinger, National Security Advisor for Nixon at the time, also got on the phone to the Joint Chiefs and got them to agree to stand down on that order until Nixon woke up sober the next morning. This wasn't the first time Kissinger had to cover for a drunken Nixon. During the Yom Kippur War between Israel and Egypt, the British Prime Minister called while Nixon was, in Kissinger's words, loaded. According to Time, Nixon had a low tolerance and a tendency to record the goings-on of his office. I get it. I too like to take notes when I'm drunk. You don't like toilet ham? Blake Stillwell, August 10th, 2017. Left that note to myself. Hey, it could be worse. Let's not forget the time Russian President Boris Yeltsin got drunk and wandered into the streets of Washington in his underwear trying to get a pizza. Twice. What are your favorite drunken moments in US history? I actually really want to know. Please leave me a comment and I'll give my favorite a shout out in my next video. And while you're at it, click the link below to check out our new series, Drink Like a Sailor. It's delicious and really fucking weird. I also have another one that just says, "You know I love you, right? Now go f yourself."